you hang up again, baby? I just can't be alone tonight. Don't you hang up again, baby? I just can't be alone tonight. Ticking like a bomb, falling in motion, center of the stage, hoping that we'll be right. Back again. You gotta help me out, riding coasters to dream your eyes. You gotta help me out, swim in oceans to breathe your life. Don't you hang up again, baby? I just can't be alone tonight. Don't you hang up again, baby? I just can't be alone tonight.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the main stage. We got Rocket League action coming up on this Friday evening. I'm Mr. Bepic, joined in the booth by the magnificent Volts. How you doing?
Excited to be here as always, Bepic. This is week number 3 of this fantastic league in front of us. Here, this is a huge matchup for some of these teams. Have to find a win for some of these guys. And then, of course, the juggernaut of Auburn here in game number 1 have to play to the standard that not only they've set for themselves and we've set for them in the booth, but as the rest of their competitors look at them.
Definitely. JSU looking to rebound as well against this very tough Auburn team. I'm a bit familiar with these guys, being the Auburn University Rocket League caster myself, so I've got very high standards for them here. JSU did not have the greatest of starts last week in week 1. They went 0-3. It was a bit of a dominant appearance by, it was a UNA that they played last week, and UNA looked really good.
It was UNA. I got a little bit ahead of myself again, Bepic. This is week number 2. But yes, it was UNA last week with a very dominant performance over JSU. Again, have to find a win here for them. In this double round robin format, you really don't want to start 0-2. It's not the end of the world, but this Auburn team is a tough one to have to meet here in week number 2. I'm excited to see what adjustments JSU's made over the course of the past week, and then what Auburn really wants to get out on the front foot and do today.
I'm very curious to see how JSU wants to combat this speedy Auburn team. Last week we were talking about how we kind of envision Auburn and Alabama being the favorites to come out of their groups, and Alabama definitely demonstrated that with their big 3-0 win over USA. But Auburn, they've yet to take the pitch and show us what they are made of. And while I know what they can do, it's a matter of doing it in this double round robin group stage. Top 2 move out of the 3-team groups for those that are unfamiliar with this format. So Auburn, a win here could start a run, and honestly, same for JSU.
Indeed, and there's a reason, as Bepic we've talked about. On paper, it's pretty clear that Auburn is one of the favorites in this league, but there's a reason you play the matches. There's a reason we come to the pitch every Friday and cast these games and watch them occur, because you never know what might happen here. JSU has had a full week to make adjustments, while on the flip side, Auburn had a full week to kind of look at the scout, look at the scouting report, look at the past games, look at where JSU is vulnerable here. That's what I'm really highlighting from Auburn, is their ability to get out on the front foot and do what they want to do, but also take advantage of where JSU lacks in some departments.
I think they have the ability to with their speed. JSU wasn't able to keep up last week with UNA, and that could be an issue in week 2 as well, as Auburn just as fast, if not faster, as the University of North Alabama. So I look to the JSU players to keep it on the ground a bit more and don't allow the aerial prowess of the Tigers to overwhelm them like we saw happen against them with UNA in the previous week. All our eyes, I think, on JSU in this series to see if they can do something against Auburn, because if they kind of get knocked around in this series, then they're kind of swinging towards that third place spot. They become the favorites to get eliminated in the group stage.
Indeed, and if Auburn picks up a win here, Bepic, that sets up a great Week 3 matchup again with UNA versus Auburn, but it's time to find out our results, starting with game number 1, Auburn on the pitch in blue, and it will be JSU on the pitch in orange.
And JSU starting us off with a shot. Good save by Gray. A pass out to Hums. Looking for some early pressure are the Tigers. That double can help, but Peebo want to pass out to Bald. Brittany Spears, one of our favorites name-wise. Unable to clear the zone, though. And Bro Turkey, another good one, scores first.
Got some great names in here. Bepic is Bro Turkey. Just going to put this one home here. Popped it up to himself. Might have considered a double here, but just saw he had a row beat. The speed early, Bepic just 25 seconds in, already becoming a factor.
That it is JSU now going to... Actually, Bro Turkey no contact there, so not going to concede possession just yet. Now moving forward is Rowe, but Gray wins that challenge outright. That read off the back wall turns into a challenge out to Humps, looking for the double now. He sticks with it. Can't get a bump either. So Auburn sent packing despite a good look on the orange net.
It'll be Bro Turkey to walk it back out again. These best of fives, game of 1, always important to start off on a good note, but not the end of the world for either team should they drop game number 1 as Gray throws this one down the corner. Got a friendly bounce, 0 boost in front. He just can't quite get there. It'll register as a shot, but it's not a threatening one. Peebo in with a huge demo and clearance will try to buy his squad some time. Bald Brittany Spears can't get there. Bro Turkey doesn't quite find the double, but he will find a huge bump. This one's still floating around on the orange side. Pair of whiffs, and now Gray will take advantage of an open net.
That was pure chaos in the orange box right there. A weak touch, then a bump. Players double whiffing, thinking the other has the touch. Gray finally steps in and tames the chaos, turning in the open nets. And this is a start that I think most people are expecting to happen in favor of Auburn. They're looking for a third goal. Now, with just 90 seconds passed, and this is a bit of insider information as I am the Auburn caster. I'm pretty sure one of these guys is playing on a laptop at his home as it is our spring break at the moment. So despite a small handicap, is still a good start for Auburn.
Good start for Auburn indeed. We'll see if they can hang on to this good start of Bepic today. Some traditional sports news. Auburn had a good start in the SEC men's basketball tournament. It didn't end too well in this one. We'll continue with a good start here in our Rocket League as Gray puts home a nasty double.
Open wounds, Volts. Open wounds. Far too soon to be bringing up Auburn basketball today. I'm going to focus on Rocket League here, thank you, as they're up 3-0. JSU just cannot clear the zone right now. That midfield pressure unrelenting. And even though the kickoff game has somewhat gone in favor of JSU, from there it's been very difficult for them to keep control of this ball.
JSU, again, they have some positives. They've had the kickoffs in their favor. They've done a really good job of getting some big clearances like we see here. This one will track into the corner with no one immediately there, but they are having a little bit of trouble just keeping up in the midfield area. A lot of open space for Auburn to work with Bepic, and we've seen it 3 times. We'll probably see it more before the series is over. You can't give them too much space as Gray will be denied by the 4th defender.
Couple shots going awry for Auburn, though they're doing a good job making up for it by getting more shots set up off of solid midfield control. It seems like there's always a player ready to receive the rock at the center line. And misses from JSU not going to help Rowe. Finally, a strong clear into the corner now, set up off the back wall. Peebo going to step in, but Hums has that whole play covered up. And in transition, Auburn shut down at the near post, but they're looking threatening for a second. Good job by JSU, and perhaps they'll get something to head into the final 2 minutes with here.
Longest we've gone without a goal scored thus far here in game number 1. Bro Turkey, a little bit of confusion here. Big bump by ball, Brittany Spears, and that will not be in the back of the net. Hums able to recover. It was Hums and Bro Turkey that collided back there on the back line. So a little bit of confusion from Auburn doesn't bite them in the back thus far. This one will be slowly moved in the corner. It's around 1 from Rowe, and now it'll be called on for Peebo to get this one out. He'll get it around Bro Turkey as well. Good shooting opportunity will be turned away. Auburn very quick to recover, Bepic.
They are. And in the corner of this fight right now, we're doing a great job of keeping control, close control of the ball. P. Bowen, nice one there, and good challenge win to get it away from a blue car, but quickly turned into offense for the Tigers. Who's going to move forward and take a shot here? It's Bro Turkey off the back wall. He's got the read. That is all too easy for the Turkey man himself.
One more double around the challenger here. Big miss on the back wall, and that one's going to go home every single time. Bro Turkey sporting that Season 5 Supersonic Legend tag, Bepic. We know it's not an easy tag to reach, and doubles of that nature become expected at that level.
Bro Turkey nearly making CRL in the most recent qualifier. I think they placed top 6, if my memory serves me well. So he's got that experience to make deep runs in tournaments. A bit different format in the CRL qualifiers compared to this group into playoff bracket format. But regardless, the mentality is strong on the side of the Tigers, and I think it's shown. They have not let their feet off the gas pedal.
Double commit on the back wall for JSU spells more trouble as Bro Turkey can't quite find the angle. Gray tried to keep possession, said it sneaks past Hums. First shot won't go, and P. Bowen just doesn't quite have the read. One of those awkward kicks off the post, I should say. And with no read coming through, yet another open net. Here is P. Bowen looking for a demo, just can't quite find Hums there as he was forced to just wait to see if he had time. Speaking of time, Gray able to get up in front of that one, but with 10 seconds left, Bepic, no amount of goals from JSU that can reasonably be scored will change our outcome. It will go game number 1 in favor of Auburn.
I like the thought there by P. Bowen. We could see another quick transition from him, just trying to generate offense himself. JSU really need a player to take over a play. They need someone to step up, maybe dribble it over a couple defenders, just beat several blue cars, and that you can establish offense off of. They are struggling right now to keep the ball in the blue half, and that is the complete opposite on the side of Auburn. It is just all pressure from the Auburn Tigers. They put 12 shots on, JSU 5, but 4 of those P. Bowen, and he is that one player that has stepped up, but it's not enough to do enough to set up all Britney Spears in row.
Indeed. That's a really good point as well. It feels like JSU is solely relying on these counterattacks or kickoff shots there. I really can't think of a real notable shot besides the one that Gray climbed the ladder for to save. There really was threatening on net. So 5 shots, yes. Threatening shots, probably about 1 or 2. And so it's really going to be a tall task for JSU. The opportunities seem like they're going to be far and in between, which requires near perfection when it comes to your shooting percentage if you want to stay competitive in games like this.
Definitely. JSU has been put in a situation where they need to play pretty much perfectly to counteract Auburn, because there were double commits, but the mechanics of the Auburn Tigers seem to be enough to counteract those situations where mistakes were made. And well, 5-0 is a scoreline that is a formidable mountain to climb for Jacksonville State. Game 2, though, scoreboards reset. 5 minutes on the clock to maybe get this series even, but a lot of work needed to be done to get to that point.
One more time, JSU favor on the kickoff, and there it is. 9 seconds in, P. Bowen puts that one home. Bepic, that's how you take advantage of opportunities. 1 shot, 1 goal.
Well, not nearly enough mechanics on the side of Auburn to make up for that mistake. Bro Turkey too hard a touch into that midfield area, and an uncontested shot. P. Bowen finally finding their goal. And JSU, their first lead in this series. That's got to feel good. It's a much better start here in Game 2, and they could extend it here, but Hums, a clutch demo to make sure P. Bowen can't find their second.
Sometimes all you need, Bepic, is just a score reset and a mental reset at that, which is why these games, only 5 minutes on the clock, and then we start it all over. And Hums, speaking of starting over, wants a redo on that one there. Just couldn't quite find the angle. Would have been a huge equalizer here, a good response from Auburn. Instead, ball Britney Spears miss off the back wall, triple commit to keep this one out. Gray wants to get it in front, huge dunk for Bro Turkey, but still nothing to show for it on the scoreboard.
They are boost starving JSU very, very nicely. A strong clear is needed And a strong clear is found. Ball Brittany Spears the save and the push of the ball over the midfield line. That miss not going to help the case of JSU to allow Auburn to move forward once more and set up their offense, which they will do out of the corner. Hums taking a shot, row, so awkward, caught turning around in the goal, and just like that, we are all tied up.
Heavy touch from P. Bowen here, and you are indeed correct. Rowe in good position, maybe thought there was time to grab a couple pads, and then as soon as he realized that it wasn't, too little, too late.
And minute 15 passed. This first 75 seconds, a lot more hotly contested. It's more back and forth. JSU was pinned in their back half in the first game when we saw that same time period elapse. And while Auburn started to trend in the right direction here, P. Bowen has been a menace in that midfield, stealing balls from blue cars. And that is a recipe for success. Just generate little more bits of offense. And if you keep the game manageable, magical things can happen.
Good demo attempt there. It will be found on the second man. Couldn't quite find it the first time around was P. Bowen, but did find it on the second one. Passing play from Auburn. Bro Turkey shot. First shot not on. Second shot, I believe, was not on either. And Bro Turkey just continuing to light up that score column as he continues here. Demo into a flip reset. Has a chance at the musty, but instead a double commit will see it away.
Bro Turkey definitely having his way with this series so far. JSU will have to find some way to take him out of plays. It's a nice bump, but the ball finds its way to Bro Turkey, and he will do what he does best. That's interfere with JSU's hopes of offense. Now, aforementioned Turkey off the back wall for a teammate. Hums down, Hums in. Auburn taking the lead just past the halfway mark.
What a shot here from Hums as Bro Turkey just able to pop it super high off the backboard, and Hums gonna be faster to that 99% of the time, and it's a great shot, a great angle. 2-1 Auburn, 2 unanswered.
Now, time for JSU to stop the bleeding, figure out a way to take this game too. A shot from Gray, though, a bit non-threatening until the defense was exposed as being quite awkward. 2 get up Volts, but no one make the save.
2 up, no one makes the save, indeed. And this, again, is where JSU really just has to kind of grind it out here. You can't continue to let the scoreline get away from you. You've been competitive now for about half the game besides the last 10 seconds.
Yep.
So you really have to grind here, find at least once on a response. If it's what demos, or what it takes, then by all means continue to facilitate them, but you have to make sure it doesn't expose you on the defensive end. Ball Brittany Spears will keep that one out of the back of the net for the time being. Gray had a great angle. And this one will be cleared away one more time. JSU, time is not in their favor. That touch not in their favor as well. And Gray there to capitalize on the mistake. 4 unanswered for the Tigers.
That was a bit of an egregious one. Ball Brittany Spears, I think, felt the pressure of Gray being in their vicinity. They could have caught that if there was no one in the area, but they probably heard Gray, probably saw Gray going for that midfield boost, and the pressure got to Ball Brittany Spears. 4-1. Auburn starting to run away with this one. Such a good start for Jacksonville State. Turned into a bit of a rough ending of the game as a tough minute or so has really cost them game 2.
Dangerous ball in this corner for Auburn again. Bro Turkey, good turn. Bro Turkey towards the net. Gray off the backboard, drop down to Hums. 3-man passing play. And Auburn continues to add to their main stage highlight reel. It's 5-1.
Auburn's just flexing their offensive muscles right there. What communication, coordination, and a beautiful finish from Hums in between 2 defenders. Those are the kind of plays that they will need to be making if they want to make it to that LAN Grand Finals at the main stage, is bringing it to the table. Pretty stuff right there for Auburn's 5th. Still 70 seconds on this clock. Again, it feels like this is what we're talking about whenever we cast a JSU match, folks. It's just, what can they bring into the next game?
I would, again, if I'm JSU, I really try to get back as Pro Turkey. Nets a 6th goal here. You have to get back to what was working in the first couple minutes of this game, really dominating the kickoff game and just continuing to frustrate Auburn. It feels like the amount of Auburn space they have is unlimited, Bepic, and it's a lot of double
Mhm.
commits and maybe a communication issue here in game number 2 from JSU rather than a skill issue.
Well, JSU there, double miss again, giving a lot of respect, I think, which is due to that Auburn Tiger player challenging the ball in the midfield. But here is where JSU needs to shine. It's those midfield touches. Rowe went right past the ball, just didn't quite have that perfect read on the play. And so the offense is a bit stunted as now P. Bowen sent backwards by Hums. And now the ball sent even further in the wrong direction for JSU. They are just being beaten at the center of the field right now. And Auburn's offense far too good to be given this many opportunities and expect them to lose.
Last 15 seconds become a formality here as the bumps and disruption plays continue to run rampant across our pitch. Game number 2 will end in the same fashion as game 1, a dominant victory for the Auburn Tigers, and we'll move to game 3 here to really see if JSU can make some quick adjustments on the fly here against a very, very talented Auburn Tigers team.
Just one shot on the board for JSU in that game, despite the early pressure, which looked pretty good. And that one shot found the back of the net, so shooting 100% is a nice little stat for Jacksonville State. But the stat that matters is the goal tally, 6-1. Auburn putting up 16 shots en route to that 5-goal victory. And right now, I think they are playing up to their rank, up to their abilities as a squad, and JSU is just unable to keep up.
Yeah, JSU's going to have to facilitate some more offense. This time, again, they did take our advice. They shot 100%. Now they need to combine it with a little bit more volume. The quality was there. Now you need to combine it with some quantity and see if that, moving into game number 3, can get you a little bit closer and maybe even steal one back here and build some momentum.
They'll have to capitalize on every single Auburn mistake. There weren't too many of those in the previous game, and the one that was the most egregious, that Bro Turkey touch into non-open space right to P. Bowen, that was punished, which is fantastic. But JSU, in combination with those mistakes, hopping on the Auburn mistakes, they need to generate their own offense like this. Those carries toward the net that look so threatening and set up good looks. Auburn almost scoring the first, but JSU's defense plus the crossbar hold on for now.
It's a good hang from JSU. I'm not sure how much longer they'll be holding on for. It will be for the first 30 seconds, though. They have not allowed or conceded just yet. It's a good beat from Rowe and P. Bowen with a good 50 as well. So this is what JSU really has to get down to, Bepic. You have to grind out some of these saves. You have to continue to frustrate Bro Turkey and company as he can't find a touch on that one here. And then again, on these counterattacks, got to find a touch and continue to at least get some looks on net. This one will be just off to the left, and ball Brittany Spears' shot will be a slow bouncer. It will be on. Yep. So back and forth again. A lot of pressure on JSU, but much better this time around to not concede. P. Bowen flexing some mechanics we hadn't seen just far. It will be depossessed by Bro Turkey, and then the shot will be just off to the left.
I love that P. Bowen is at least looking confident. I respect the ceiling shot attempt or ceiling hit attempt, but that's off the crossbar again. Auburn, they're struggling a bit with their accuracy at the moment. That's what's keeping this game level despite already putting 7 shots on target in the first minute 40. JSU have been given openings here. They just have to do something with the offense that they are putting on the board. Is so far scoreless, but it feels like an Auburn goal is looming.
I think JSU will take the 0-0 scoreline as a little team pinch out this time. Will be met at midfield. Rowe tried to beat Hums to this one, can't quite do it. Ball Brittany Spears doesn't have a touch, neither does Gray. Hums doesn't even have a shot, he has a demo, and somehow this one's still not in the back of the net. JSU, Bepic, is what we call making a hang here, as they just continue to cling to the 0-0 scoreline.
Oh, the tiny string is what is keeping this scoreboard at double zeros. That shot going to be a little bit too low, and P. Bowen sends it away. Finally clear as well, thanks to a great team bump onto Bro Turkey. Now off the back wall, set up nice, but hums there. Ball Britney Spears stepping up, pop over one. Gray has that back wall covered, and he'll go off the ceiling. Has a flip to work with. Can't use to block P. Bowen's touch. But Bro Turkey at the near post does very nicely to push that ball out of danger into the corner, and it leads to an Auburn transition.
Good job by Auburn there. Clinical defense. Exactly how you teach it. Pete Bowen will pick up a good demo on the offensive side to relieve some of that pressure. Ball Britney Spears with a free touch and will launch this one down the pitch. Wanted to connect with Rowe. Couldn't quite do it, but Rowe upfield at least buys his team some time. As you can see, ball Britney Spears grabbed mid. Pete Bowen has that back corner boost. And once again, JSU able to escape Bepic. They are looking much, much better here in game number 3.
They're making the back line of the Auburn Tigers work hard, and that is a huge plus for JSU. They still could very well steal one game in this series. Just one mistake from Auburn is all it takes, because right now, that JSU defense playing good enough. Though Gray has something to say about that. Set up off the back wall. It's open for Bro Turkey, or at least as open as it needs to be. Auburn will finally get on the board.
And it's a double commit from JSU as both of the defenders in net went. Rowe tried to scramble back and turn in net quickly. Just doesn't have the time to reach that one there. But it went almost 4 minutes without a goal, and we've seen JSU be good off kickoff. They just can't get enough behind that one. Peebo is shut down by Hums.
Well, a lot of opportunities have come off the kickoff. You're right. That one probably needed to go in. But JSU still can't tie, force an OT. I think that would be another big plus for their side. But goals have been tough to come by in this series for them. Just 1 off of 7 shots. And that is the second in game 3 now. Hums putting one in. And that might be the clincher for this series.
With the lack of offense from JSU Bepic, I would indeed categorize that one as the clincher, but we've seen stranger things happen. And again, JSU solid off the kickoff here as P. Bowen dusts this kickoff. It's a good win from Rowe as well. This is a shooting opportunity. Pass will not come through, though. Bro Turkey sees the danger to the side, and for the time being has bought his team some time. He removes a teammate from the play, and it will not affect the Auburn Tigers. They are out on a run, and Bro Turkey playing this one to the side, and it'll be shot on. What a save by P. Bowen, but Bepic these last 15 seconds now truly, after a Hums goal, become the final formality of this series.
Well, I'm pleased that JSU put up 4 shots. They were sitting at 1 there for a while. Again, I didn't want them to end on that number. Auburn with 12 to the 4 of JSU. It's just a big offense against a not so big offense. Auburn not allowing JSU to play their game, and it'll be another 3-0. Jacksonville State University now sitting in 3rd place at 0-2. Auburn going to join UNA up at the top. It's essential. I know it is a genuine tie, as they're both 1-0 in series, 3-0 in games. That matchup next week, folks, will be a good one, I'm sure.
A huge matchup next week, Bepic, because that will decide, I would say, well, I mean, it will decide the number 1 seed for the first half of this round robin, but I think it sets the precedent for the remainder of this season here. Again, these teams will play each other again as Auburn's victory now goes fully official. These teams will all play each other again, but picking up the victory the first time around is a massive. There's a little bit less game planning, a little bit less changes you have to make on the back end. And then, of course, the flip side for JSU, you've gotten to see both your opponents at this point, and now you understand there's some adjustments that have to be made against each team to at least make these series a little bit closer as far as series score.
Yeah, they'll have to figure it out, because an 0-6 start is not where JSU wants to be in the group stage, and you just have to place that second spot. You don't have to be first in your group to make playoffs. You just have to beat one team. While UNA and Auburn have gotten the best of them, there is Rocket League yet to play, just like there's Rocket League yet to play here tonight. UAB against USA coming up in just a bit as we check into Group B to see how they're doing. Volts and I and the main stage will be right back. And welcome back to the main stage. Group B action coming up. UAB versus USA Volts. We saw USA in action last week. They didn't do so hot against Alabama. I mean, not many teams are going to, but UAB, bit of a wild card. They haven't played yet.
Indeed. Again, it's tough to measure how good USA is because we know that Alabama team, the Crimson Tide, is a really, really good. They showed what they're capable of last week. So this, again, as you said, we have a wild card matchup with University of Alabama Birmingham playing here today for the first time, but we also haven't got to see how USA stacks up against a team that you might say is a little bit more on their level. So I'm very excited to see where this matchup takes us. As we were talking about behind the scenes, this might be the potential to be our first non-sweep of this season thus far.
Yep, I'm with you there. Looking forward. That Auburn UNA match definitely should be a great one, and this one I'm hoping is close to the same. This might end up being the battle, or it sets the tone for the later season battle for second place in Group B, and that's nearly a good start for UAB. The defense of USA a bit shaky in that instance, and Birmingham off to a good start.
Cotter trying to work this one around, wanted to escape his own in. God Gooey is going to be teaming with Bing and Sleepy here today. That's going to be our University of Alabama Birmingham lineup. And thus far, they've got most of the pressure, though. The deep possession in the midfield will buy some temporary time for this USA squad to kind of regain its footing. Cottard slash now with a good 50 back all the way down to the blue end. Cottard wants the shot instead. It's a pass to Scrimmy and put it top right. Didn't even need to be so fine with the placement. He's just that good.
That was the perfect counterattack. Cottard slash beating two, and then Scrimmy has got essentially an open net plus the gorgeous placement. You gotta point that out. Didn't need to, but hey, I placed it top bin. So a beautiful start for USA when they really couldn't get much going last week. UAB trying to counteract the goal we just saw open the scoring, but so far this USA defense doing well.
South Alabama really just hanging on in front of the goal line, and sometimes, Epic, that's all you have to do.
Yep.
Just kind of just weather the storm of shots. None of them have been overly threatening, though this is threatening enough. A good little pop, just a little bit too far out. Gave Scrimmy some time to read where that one was headed. This is a good fake, however, and the shot just off to the left, so no response just yet from UAB.
No, in transition, South Alabama continuing to look threatening for short bursts, and sometimes it's all you need as long as your defense is playing solid, and so far it is, led by that man right there, Scrimmy. Several good touches out of the back half, and Cottard slash the same. They started that counterattack that led to the opening goal. Shut down there, though, by Bing centering pass to commit. Ball is sent long. God Gooey will take it under his wing, and going off the ceiling passes it down to Sleepy. Shot back to God Gooey. He couldn't make that extra touch of contact. Would have been a highlight reel play for sure.
Would have been a highlight reel play and a massive equalizer. Instead, 2 minutes gone by. UAB continues to trail here, though. This is a massive team bump in front. They won't pay for it. Will the Jags, and they continue to work on their counterattack game. Dangerous ball in front. First shot won't go. Follow up no good. And now a counterattack coming back the other way, except maybe not. Ball left floating in the midfield as the Jags move to take possession and keep us back in this blue corner one more time.
And the ball's a bit abandoned. It leads to a chance here for Cottard slash. That's why you got to take every possession you possibly can. Then a double commit in defense, never going to help your cases. God Gooey was sucked into the corner with Sleepy and then never really recovered. What a read from South Alabama, and they have certainly jumped out to a hot start.
South Alabama looking really good again. Pepik, we didn't know what to expect after their troubles last week here, but they look like a completely regained team. Sleepy will at least keep UAB in this one for now. Dangerous ball in front, though. Buster tried to find the best touch he could. God Gooey will help work it out, and Sleepy with a great pinch and boost grab at the mid. Dangerous ball in front, but the dunk will not end up in the back of the net.
Couple of great chances, though, for UAB to get on the board. This isn't just a whitewash, despite what the scoreline reads at the moment. This game has had a lot of shots on target for UAB. They've got 5 to their name, same as South Alabama. and one it's bound to find the back of the net eventually if they keep the quality up. And Sleepy could start one here, but no, that midfield has slowly transitioned into an orange color as South Alabama has taken control of it, and they have kept UAB back for the large part of the last 90 seconds.
Good move by Sleepy. Found Godgui. Shot will be on.
Oh.
Oh, again, Goddard able to keep it out of the back of the net. He is just frustrating. This team on the goal line is again called upon to save it. He's got 4.
And Sleepy transition out, just trying to do something that can set up a quality shot to get past Cottard Slash and, well, also the rest of the USA defense. But you're right, he has been doing a lot of work here. And Scrimmy going in counterattack mode, putting a shot on, forcing 2 up. And Cottard Slash going to waste more precious seconds for UAB. This has been a great showing in Game 1 for South Alabama, finally showing us what they can do when their opponent is not the Alabama Crimson Tide. 30 seconds left, and UAB yet to crack that goal line.
You talked about this match being a tone setter, Bepic, here, and right now, the tone is the defense of South Alabama continuing to stand strong. The Jags will not break on the goal line, and this sets up to be a very long series because, again, as you pointed out, eventually UAB is bound to break the back line.
As time ticks down here, South Alabama getting the first word in this best of 5. And the ball will soon touch the dirt, probably. USA finally having their name showing up on the screen. It's official. They have won their first game in the main stage, and they did it off of the back of solid transitional play and great defense. A combined 9 saves from the 3 South Alabama players. That is a number to behold.
9 saves, and all 9 shots from UAB were saved there. So again, efficiency out of the University of Alabama Birmingham. They're putting shots on. There were some really good looks, Bepic. Man, there's sometimes you just have to tip your cap. The defense just played a little bit better than the offense.
That's why we play best of 5s and not best of 1s in most cases, because sometimes there are just those really good pop-off defensive games and your opponent outplays you there, but it doesn't usually, or, well, it might, but it doesn't always tell you who the better team is. UAB, with those quality looks, very well could run away with Game 2 should they keep them coming in situations where they finally just find the back of the net. Cottard Slash can't replicate that 4-game save every single game, unless maybe he can. We'll see what happens in Game 2, Volts.
10 seconds in, and it's already Cottard trying to grab the lead right back for his squad. Instead, it'll be Scrimmy tracking this one from the back. Sleepy waits for him on the wall. Instead, Sleepy just going to be able to advance. The pass mid to Bing is a little bit short, but it's a good beat. Maybe we'll see a demo game start to break out. The rotation through there from Sleepy. He was hunting a demo, Bepic. Maybe that's what's needed, and then on cue, the Jags pick up a demo of their own.
Well, this does have the style of game where the team that is unable to find the back of the net starts to employ demos in that offensive rotation. And it not only works in taking away those defenders that were finding saves in the last game, but it also gets a bit of that frustration out of your offensive mind. And both work about equally as well in Rocket League. That's a solid 50, though, sending UAB back. And now Buster pushing UAB even further into their own end. This first minute, it's been back and forth, but USA continue to look dangerous in these counterattack situations.
Bing gonna drop this one down to the midfield. Godgui will have his shot cut out, and Sleepy does a good job to keep it. Again, Bepic, it's looking like counterattacks might be the answer. Sleepy self-pass, and there will be goal number 1. It's a good look from him.
Finally, a mistake was forced out of the South Alabama defense. Sleepy doing it all himself. Just made it awkward for scrimming, and sometimes that's all it takes. Some games just don't have any goals. You weren't able to force any awkward situations like that. Game 2 comes around, and almost immediately, Sleepy and UAB are able to get on the board with a play that was just too awkward for USA.
Sleepy trying to add his name to the score column one more time. It'll take a double commit to keep him out of the back of the net. Here he comes again, though, and this time turned away by Cottard, who got it all the way back out to mid. Bing, though, will have another look, and that one just a little bit off, and that will allow for some relief of pressure. Good catch in front, good beat as well. Sleepy trying to beat the whole Jags squad by himself. He'll pick up a demo on the last man and force Buster to really go for an awkward ball there from the wrong direction, but somehow it does work out in his favor.
And now Buster in that counterattack mode where USA has had a good degree of success, going to be turned away, and then on the other side of things, being a chance off the rebound, but couldn't put it netward, nor on the follow-up. We'll try again out of the corner, centering it for Gooey. Let a shot on, but Cottard slash, making a save, adding to that side of the stat sheet. Sleepy going to force another big touch out of Grimmy. If he can get there, he does. Counts as a save. A lot of offense for UAB, still holding on to that 1-goal lead, but UAB, feels like at this point of the game with all this pressure revolts, they maybe should be up by 2 or 3.
I was going to say, the 1-0 scoreline really doesn't do it justice, but it's what we have in front of us, and it's tough for UAB because they have to, again, if we're feeling that way, Bepic, they certainly do.
Right.
And so it's very tough to know that you're 1 goal away from being equalized when you're playing so well here in game number 2. Can't let it affect you, though. Have to continue to play sound defense, hunt for a true second goal, which is what they're looking for right now. Bing's got a chance, but it'll be off the front post and back out. But just have to be careful because it could be a mental blow if the Jags can somehow work this back down to the blue end and find yet another equalizer in this series. This is a dangerous ball back out mid, but instead only to the corner for Sleepy, who will track it in there himself.
Oh, it's a
my.
chance. It's still on the goal line. And Cottard slash going to keep that spectacle of an offensive play out. Still at that 1-goal tally. This is where it starts to wear on you mentally, is continuing to push. UAB cannot put in insurance. And if USA can find their way back in this game, tie things up, maybe even steal it in the final 60 seconds here, that is a worrying tone to have set on you if you are the Blazers.
Opportunity for the Jags in the corner. Ball to the back wall will be seen away. And now all the way back out to mid. Cottard slash was called to use all of his boost to keep that one, and continuing to play off the back foot are the Jags, as this will be a free ball here. Where's the shot? It's going to be Bing to come across. There's a 50. Would have liked to see UAB put that one at least on frame, Bepic, but I think they're in park the bus mode.
They are. They just don't want to get scored on at this point. I can't blame them. The offense, clearly, despite playing a lot of it, can't find a second, so focus on making saves if they come your way, as right now, counterattack's not too threatening from University of South Alabama. That's a double commits and a soft touch. Now it's up to Buster on 0 seconds into the corner. Ball should take a hop off of Bing's car. It's into the box, but there's no one there. 1-0, our final scoreline.
What a low-scoring game for how many shots we saw there, Bepic. Again, 6 out of UAB. I guess it felt like more out of USA. Only 3 recorded. I guess maybe some of them not on frame to be considered shots, I would say. I guess would be the big thing. But either way, a 1-0 scoreline doesn't quite feel like what we just watched.
No, it doesn't. With all the pressure that UAB had, I guess most of it in the corners, I suppose. The defense of South Alabama still played very well in that game. I suppose getting the ball into non-dangerous positions, into the corners where shots can't ring out immediately. And then there were times where the Blazers didn't have a player in the area of the ball when it was left alone a bit by USA cars. And after that game, too, we have a series that is all tied up despite the strange shooting numbers, despite the strange rotations at times, Volts. We're tied up, and that's, I suppose, what matters.
Indeed, we've got a little bit of a false start here on kickoff. It looks like we did have a player DC from the lobby, so we'll go ahead and get that lobby remade and get everything reset up for everyone here at the main stage. Just think of it as an extended break here. Both teams taking a little bit of extra time between games. Our first 1-1 series, though, Bepic, here at the main stage. No more sweeps in line for us. It does feel weird. It feels very
It's
strange.
strange to have a 1 on either side of the scoreboard. What on earth is that? But I'm happy to see it. I'm really happy to see Group B's competition getting stirred up for what I figure is going to be the second place spot, but you never know what could happen. One loss in it's only 4 series played, I think. I too many numbers in my head at the moment. But my point is, despite being double round robin, the end of the split can kind of sneak up on you a little bit. And if Alabama loses the series here to maybe a peaking UAB or USA, that is when the race for first place in Group B really starts to heat up.
Yeah, this matchup is likely to define who picks up that second slot in Group B, Bepic. Because, again, with how the University of Alabama looked and how competitive this series is, you have to think that UAB might struggle next week with Alabama coming in here for that Week 3 matchup. Time will tell when it comes to that one, but if UAB can come out on the front foot here in this series, again, we're effectively in a best of 3 at this point moving forward. If they can come out on the front foot here, it will set up a great matchup for next week.
And for later on down in the season, if you win this series handily, then there's less pressure on you for when we have this USA versus UAB matchup again to do really well in that series, because tiebreakers being what they are, you want to make sure you dispose of teams that will be threatening to your position in the standings easily and handily, so that you don't have to have that game differential tiebreaker scare you at the end of the season. We know how things can be in Rocket League, how close they can get, and I'm sure both these sides want to make sure they stay out of that realm of possibilities.
Speaking of realm of possibilities, we're ready to head back down to the pitch. We've got it all set up again. Screamy just had a good look at the net, but might have been clipped a little bit by the challenger there and knocked off that ball. But an early opportunity for the Jags forming here as they've got good pressure. They've already recorded a shot. The pass across mid will be launched away by Bing. As the dangerous opportunity now turns into a counterattack. Bing, a little bit antsy there. Double commit will not yield a shot for the University of Alabama, Birmingham.
And, whoa, that's a good attempt from Sleepy. Almost forced in by the defense. Will set up a chance for Sleepy to cap off that play with a goal. What a solo effort from the UAB representative to net the Blazers their first of this game, and a big one in Game 3.
I don't even know what to call that, Pepic. He launches towards it like he's going to hit it, and then he half flips in midair, and it almost effectively musties the ball.
We'll call it pretty. That's what we'll call it.
I like that. And we'll call it pretty, and I'll add effective to it as well, as he was able to beat the entire defense and tap it in. So 1-0 right where the University of Alabama Birmingham left off. Dangerous ball in front. Sleepy again, though he's just doing it all. Called to make the first save. He'll also get the big clearance back out to mid, and he'll allow Bing to launch this one back towards the middle of the pitch.
I'd say his defense has been playing very well. It's kind of a given so far in this best of 5, but their passing game has really not been too effective. We saw right there a really good look in the infield. The defense did cover it up, but other times has a good chance from Godgo. I like what was going on right there, but the passes have not been coming through, and when they have, there's been no one there to receive for South Alabama, and I think they need to add that element to their game to really be effective in this best of 5, because their defense, they're making saves, but they are having trouble clearing the zone right now, finding each other in stride to set up those transitions. It feels like only when there is space for one player to work with for the side of USA are they clearing their half with pace and lethality, and I think that's where UAB is kind of garnering some of their advantages here.
I would have to agree, Bepic, again. And the counterattacks as well. Bing and company have done a really good job of getting some good looks out of the counterattacks. I know they all haven't gone into the back of the net, but the looks themselves, the opportunities are certainly there.
Gooey trying to set something up here, but Buster will shut it down up for himself. Another solo play transition, but it's effective. This is the Buster and the Sleepy show. What an effort to go high and then go low. Gorgeous challenge from the Jaguar player.
That's just how you win a 50, Bepic. There's no other way to put it. The 50 is just picture perfect. The bounce shot in to the back of the net, and an individual effort to get his squad back in it. The Jags now tied up in this game, tied in the series as well. So a huge goal right at the halfway point.
See what this game 3 has in store for us. It's that ever-coveted swing game for either side. Gives them the advantage of being on match point into game 4. Right now, UAB fighting for it just as hard as their counterparts. Sleepy trying to work his magic again, but having to step in and put it off to the side and reset this offensive ultimately. Screaming, going to shut it down. Good defensive stand by USA, not allowing the balls received in space by UAB players to get too dangerous for their defense.
Oh, that's a great 50 again. Bing just has one to beat. Oh, it's a nasty double. Call it calculated. But it's Sleepy returning the favor with a huge 50 dunk, and then Bing just has to pop this one over. Yeah, calculated. We'll call it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, cars in the area. Bing knew exactly where to be for that bounce off the crossbar. 2-1. UAB taking the next swing in this boxing match between two heavyweights. Scrimmage looking for the equalizer. 90 on the clock. Well, that second goal will have to come sooner rather than later for this South Alabama side. Corner could be fruitful, but near post covered up by Sleepy. They get a second touch over a couple of players, and Buster forced to reset, taking it back, not grabbing that corner boost. That could be important later, as they have to delay their touch, can't stick their car on the ball, but a team bump will give USA the ball right back, and they can do what they can with this possession.
60 seconds left in this one. UAB would love another goal just to secure the swing game win. And then, of course, USA trying to respond, Bepic, but it looks like a disconnect when they transition from defense to offense as again, more open space in the midfield for UAB that just quite honestly shouldn't be there. Again, there's a player missing or a rotation that's cut. And speaking of cut, Sleepy cuts this pass off and puts it in the back of the net.
Sleepy was just hunting right there. Scrimmy turning around. If you're going to go for the ball as the last man, Scrimmy, you got to go all the way, my friend, because Sleepy is going to hit that shot if they sense blood in the water, and they did. 36 now for a 2-goal deficit to be made up. Sleepy trying to make it 3, but that touch going to get away from him. Good control, though, offensively, and it's going to get a bit sketchy there on the back line for the USA.
Sketchy on the back line and in the wrong part of the pitch. If they want a chance to at least tie this game up, UAB continuing to just stall at the midfield. One long clearance, Bepic. It will be match point for UAB as we head to game number 4. USA has dropped 2 straight. Need a response. Gonna have to make some adjustments. Again, I truly believe in the midfield to really connect the offense and the defense together.
I'm with you there. And to connect the offense to the defense, they need to connect their players a lot better. Again, I harped on those passes not happening and not working when they did happen, and I'm still with that. USA just needs some kind of effectively dangerous transition game that isn't there. As when they put 7 shots on, they did set up their offense for looks, but 6 of those saved. UAB doing too well with the shots that USA are putting on. They needed to mix up the offense just a bit.
We'll see if they can do that task here on Forbidden Temple as we head to game number 4. Or is it too little, too late? Do you start turning your attention now to week number 4, where you have a rematch with Alabama, and again, a bye week next week? Or do you try to respond in this week's matchup for the placement for some of the I would say game differential moving into this double round robin. So we'll see how this comes here. But adjustments have to be made on the fly, and I'm not sure, Bepic, that it's going to be enough for USA.
Well, USA, they're still in this series. UAB definitely has a sizable advantage right now, but that was a close game three for the most part. It was that final 60-second stretch that really sealed the deal for the Blazers. But USA, they're in this one. They have got a solid defense to build a strong building off of. The foundation is there just to figure out their offensive side of things. And that's a couple of good beats. There's just no one there to finish it off as the defense had one last man there to keep it red. And then at the midfield, it's another battle won by UAB, and it leads to a near double tap opener.
It would have been a huge shot to open it up, would have really knocked some of the wind out of the sails. And as Pepik, you're talking about, they're still in the series, but that would have been a huge goal to drop. As returning the favor was Buster on the far side. God Gooey called to defend the line one more time. He's played some stellar defense. Been a quiet game number 2 and 3 for him, Pepik, but sometimes the dirty work goes unnoticed.
Definitely. I mean, when you've got Sleepy doing a large part of the work and Buster on the other side doing a large part of the scoring, as that's 2 straight, I believe, for the USA player. And it's an infield pass, kind of. A challenge that goes into the infield. A player's there to receive volts. If USA can replicate that, just maybe not off of challenges and more so off of passing plays, then they've got themselves a game 5. I'm confident with that. But for now, UAB looking to respond.
It's definitely a good start here in a must-win game. Got to win 2 straight to take the series for USA, while UAB needs just 1 in this one. Saved by Coddard Slash on the wrong goal line. That is an unfortunate break. He was already pre-flipped as Sleepy's long bomb now turned away on the other side.
You just gotta have a better read on what your offense is doing in that situation. Coddard Slash should know better not to flip into a teammates. And if this game is lost by USA, as Sleepy ties things up, we'll look back at that team save. What a play, though, in transition from Sleepy again.
What an angle to put that one home. Oh my goodness. The redirect there, the calculation, no bounce beats him near post. And Pepik, indeed, it's the swings. Instead of a 2-0 lead, you allow Sweepy the transition opportunity to do something like that. And instead, we're equalized here on Forbidden Temple, and Sleepy almost put in a second one.
And still doing work to keep the ball in that USA half. Now Buster off to the office himself, past center to Scrimmy, but cut out by Sleepy. Got 2 to jump at the very least. Sleepy, though, going to win that challenge in quick succession to his first win on the defensive side. They'll miss from God Goolies to a one-on-one. Buster taking a pot shot towards Sleepy. They'll find the save. Coddard Slash moving forward, putting that ball center. Scrimmy getting beat by Bing. If that ball's on, it's in, and yep, there it goes. 2-1. UAB taking the lead.
It's a great beat by Bing here. Again, just the last man back challenging Scrimmy. His teammates aren't quite back. Buster not in a position to really sneak over to this save. And it's a crucial miscalculation there and a loss on the 50.
They'll have a game left to play in game 4. That ball dangerously close to finding its way into the orange and off kickoff. Still very well could. Bing keeping the play alive for UAB on 12 boost to the back wall. Coddard Slash takes it away. Strong touch out. I think I would have liked to have seen some more control from Coddard Slash, and honestly from the entirety of South Alabama. They're too content to boom the ball away and have it received from UAB. This is more like it from Scrimmy, taking that challenge right to a blue card. It leads to more offense. Quality look. Buster just a bit too late on that pass in.
I would love to see USA find a goal here. It really feels like they're forcing themselves to press, looking for this equalizer. They've got a good chance to snag one here. Counterattack, one-on-one opportunity. Scrimmy went for the double, and I think he got some friendly help from a couple blue octanes. But either way, there's what USA needed.
You force the defense into awkward spots, and good things will happen. Scrimmy knows that, put the ball at a weird angle. That was an off-target shot, but Bing doesn't know that. It's kind of panicking in transition back into defense, and we find ourselves a level. Scrimmy, the hero in this instance, but Buster's been a hero for USA in the last 5 minutes of gameplay, I would say, keeping things manageable. We'll see what everyone can do here as we're all squared up. 2-1 series lead for UAB. They can close it out here, but they need one more goal.
I'd look for USA to really try to weather the storm through their defense, and Sleepy has other plans. He's ready to call it a night, as this is a huge bump from Bing, just removing the last defender. I was really, really looking forward to seeing USA build off their defense, Pepic, and steal this game away, but now it looks like more of an uphill climb.
Now they have to play short spouts of defense and really turn it into more looks on the other end of things. That's a good demo to start off an offensive. Buster puts it long. Bing keeping control, has boost to work with. And another team bump leading to what could have been an opportunity off that miss from the back wall off from Bing. Under a minute left. You got to take every opportunity you get. USA not going to be afforded very many by a stout UAB team.
Long bomb turned away from Bing. It doesn't connect with anyone else, and Bing a little bit, as you love to say, Pepe, a little sketchy there. Threw it towards his own goal. It is fortunate enough to take a friendly bounce out, but 30 seconds left. UAB just has to make sure they hang on, and then USA has to be aggressive. Another goal doesn't beat you, but not scoring certainly will.
Well, Buster putting pressure on. They want something in the final 20, but being going to slow things down. Smart play. Though that pinch not optimal. Centering pass. Card slash is there for the tie. Under 10. South Alabama square things up.
This is what we love to see, Bepic. We've been calling for the infield passes. This one, not exactly how we drew it up, but Scrimmy, again, gets it mid. Teammates there, and Sleepy just flat card, flat tired there with no momentum, is never going to be able to rise to that one in time.
Pass had the perfect amount of pace and accuracy, but for the win is God Gooey setting up Bing. It's off target, and we go to an overtime. That was a chance to stun us all, but Bing could not put it in.
Bing's going to want that one back. He had to wait a millisecond for that one to drop below the crossbar. Instead, he plays it off, and we're headed to overtime here in game number 4. All the momentum with USA right now, but Sleepy's got other plans. Couple big demos, and Bing with a little bit of redemption hits the open net. 3-1 is where our series ends.
Bing could miss that if he tried. The double demo setup from Sleepy. The back wall missed. The planets had just aligned there thanks to Sleepy. And now that UAB player can go get his rest. He can go to bed. Very happy tonight. UAB take it in 4.
It was a great series there. USA, I would have loved to see them force a game 5 here, Bepic. It felt like they really had it within their reach. They really did a great job of battling, even in this series, despite being down in the match point game, or in a must-win game. They continued to fight back. It was a really good performance for them, and this is definitely a matchup to highlight moving in later in the season, because when these two teams play again, it'll likely be for that number 2 seed.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I like UAB's chances against Alabama, but USA looked pretty solid in that series as well. They bounced back nicely from their sweeping loss to the Crimson Tide last week. What a week 2! I think this is setting us up phenomenally for next week when we get to the Group A matchup. I think we've all been waiting for UNA and Auburn squaring off, and Alabama and UAB going to be finishing off that Friday of Rocket League, but. Bolts, that was our first non-sweeping series, and I think it was quite the entertaining one.
I have to agree. Again, we know what to expect with the main stage. Two great teams there. My only disappointment is someone forgot to write the script for game number 5. We ended in 4, but still a fantastic series.
And that will do it for this Friday of Rocket League here on the UNA Esports channel. The main stage continuing to impress us for this battle for the crown of Alabama Rocket League. We'll see what happens in week 3, but for now, we gotta wait 7 days for that to befall us on our screen. We say goodbye. I've been Mr. Bepic, Volts, and right next to me, Brandy G. producing in the background, doing a phenomenal job as well. Thanks to all you viewers for watching. We'll see you next week.